Hi folks, this is video number 2 in the little series about solving this waggle on the brake or the gear change lever that I mentioned in the first video about this. Now I've taken the gear lever off. First thing is, contrary to what I said in my first video, there is in fact a bush inside that gear change lever there. There is a metal bush, so it's not bare metal contact onto this, as I said in my first video, okay? So there is a bush in there. However, despite the fact that there is a bush, I'm going to show you just how worn it is in only 5,000 miles. This fence post here is to hold that brake lever so it doesn't move, gear lever I mean, so it doesn't move when I show the waggle. So this bolt goes through there and it actually locates on that of the foot peg. And it tightens up against that shoulder there. Now, the actual bolt has got a beveled edge, look, and that is to preserve a bit of distance between the lever itself and the edge of this. If this were too tight and butted up against that lever, it's going to stop the lever from moving. So there's a beveled area there, which you can see on the grease there, look, you see where it sits. So it just stops that lever being nipped. So once this is in, and that's the orientation that it goes in, it's about there, which permits that lever to move up and down and not be grabbed by the edge of the bolt. Now look at this. Oh, now that's with a bush in it. If you pull it out a bit, it gets obviously more exaggerated the further you pull the bolt out, but you know, the bolt's sitting about there. Look, that's a hell of a lot of waggle, look. Now it may not look like much here, probably about 0.5 mil movement, but by the time that's translated through the length of the actual gear lever, that's what leads to this waggle going off, especially when it comes to changing up gear. That's the slack that I showed you in the first video. So the project I'm doing is as follows. That bolt has a 14 mil diameter, I would say it's hardened steel, shank on it. So I bought this, which is a cage needle roller bearing. Its internal diameter is 14 mil and its external diameter is 20 mil. And when that bearing is put onto here, like that, it's absolutely, there is no movement on that. It's difficult to show one-handed, but I'm not cheating. There really is no movement on that bearing. And that's a cage needle roller bearing as opposed to a wearing out rapidly bush. So the plan is to be able to get this 20mm bearing. I'll take it off. I'll put the spec of it in the where I got it from in the description as usual. So I need to get that bearing into here. And there are two options. I can either drill or get a local engineering company to enlarge this hole to 20 mil. Or I can buy, well, I bought actually a metal pipe which is 20 mil internal diameter, 30 mil external diameter. So I can try to get that one drilled out. It's going to make that wall thinner, but I'm sure it should be strong enough, I think. But failing that, I'm going to cut this off completely, because it's only welded on very lightly, look. I'm going to cut that off and then put in a 30 mil section of pipe into which that bearing would fit straight into there, into a pipe, that's welded onto the rest of the bracket. So effectively it'd be that, but bigger. And then that bearing will slot straight in, and that pin would go straight through the whole lot. So that's it with the bearing on it, look. There. That would just go straight through and hopefully eliminate that waggle. And it's something I've wanted to do on every bike I've ever had, because a bush, obviously, it's wearing out and it's done 5,000 miles. So it's going to get sloppy. It is sloppy. So this is stage 2. It's a video I'm recording in advance of getting the bits. I got the bearing this morning. And as I say, the only issue I can see, if I can get that a bit more in the light, let's have a look, stay there. Yeah, is getting that into there. I think there'll be enough metal. I think that's over thick anyway. But anyway, I've ordered a gear change lever from India, and that's on its way. So I think what I'll do is I'll get the one from India drilled out right from new, put the bearing in, see how it performs. I'll keep this one as a reserve, and if I find that the wall of this is too thin and something happens like it cracks or whatever, then I would then go to plan B, which is welding on with my little stick welder the 30mm external diameter pipe with a 20mm internal diameter. So watch this space. I've got all the bits now, and I'll proceed and do an update and post honestly whether I believe it's an improvement. Hopefully it will be. It's certainly, that bearing on here certainly feels tight. A lot tighter, well it is tight, tighter than that bush. So I'm sure a lever moving repeatedly up and down on a roller bearing is going to be a darn sight better than wearing that bush out, as it has done in 5,000 miles, and it's going to get worse. These are sealed, these bearings, by the way. They've got a little rubber O-ring at either end. You can see there, look, so they're not exposed to the elements, look. There's a rubber seal. I'm going to pack it with grease. So, to summarise, it's going to be two plans: either get that gear change lever drilled out to 20mm. I'll be losing probably about 1 mil and a bit off the edge of that. I still think it'd be strong enough. Failing that, I'll weld the pipe on. So watch this space and I'll give you the results very, very soon. In the meantime, ride safe and take care.